Hey, what's up guys? What's going on? Welcome back to Kitchen Tonic. Welcome back to another brand new video on the channel here. Welcome. In this video here today, we're going to be doing something a little different, and that is that I'm going to be walking you guys through an entire meal, guys. Now, this is not a fancy meal or anything like that, or it depends on how you look at it, but the ingredients or the recipes that we're going to be making in this video here is quite simple to say the least. So what you're looking at here is obviously my stove with 4 pots on it. As you can see there to the far end right, I have a pot with something inside of it, and that is some salted codfish that I have on my stove there. I went ahead and placed that on the stove, and I'm gonna go ahead and boil that because the menu we're gonna be making here today is dal, saltfish, and smoked herring choker, guys. So once again, dal with white rice, saltfish, and smoked herring choker, and that's what we're going to be making in here in this video today. So I got my saltfish or my salted codfish there already on the stove. I washed it off already to remove all the excess salt, of course, and then I went ahead and placed it on my stove there, and I'm gonna boil it for at least 2 times in order to remove a lot of the residual salt in that salted codfish, guys. Over here I also have 2 pots of water heating up here. One is for my rice that I'm going to be boiling, as well as some water to start boiling my split peas in order to make this dal here. So yeah guys, that's what we have here so far, and I'm going to be walking you guys through every step here as this recipe here or this menu here continues or progresses. Alright guys, so here we go. What you're looking at there is my bubbling pot of water, and what I'm going to go ahead and do now, I'm going to be placing my split pea into that water that you see bubbling right there. Now of course I went ahead and soaked my split pea for about 2 hours, which is not really necessary as this is a very simple way to make this dal here. And what I'm just going to go ahead and do, I'm going to pour this into my pot here. And I do have more water in my pot right now due to the fact that this split pea is going to be boiling down, and most of this water is expected to be evaporated. Alright guys, I'm just going to go ahead and place my split pea in this water here. And the amount of split pea that I'm using there is about 1 cup to 1.5 or 1.25 cups of split pea there. Alright guys, so I did not add any salt to this pot here as yet, so what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of salt right in there. And like I said, this is the very easy way of making this dal here guys. So basically I'm just going to be adding all the ingredients straight into the pot right away, and then we're going to allow it to boil to completion. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of curry powder. Now a lot of people love to use turmeric, but I find that the curry powder gives this recipe here the nice taste that I'm looking for. So if you want to go ahead and use turmeric instead, use turmeric instead, but that's totally up to you. I am using 2 different kind of curry here. I'm using my Guyanese Madras curry as well as some Jamaican choice curry. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up there. Alright guys, after we finish adding our curry there, I'm gonna go ahead and add 7 cloves of garlic straight into my pot as well. And this is basically it for this dal here guys. We're just gonna add a little bit of cumin powder to finish it off, but what we're gonna go ahead and do, you're gonna go ahead and allow it to boil for at least about 15 minutes to an hour guys, and that's it. It's just that easy, just that simple. If you want, you can also go ahead and chunky your cumin seeds and your garlic and whatever else, but we're going to keep it simple. You just have to add some cumin powder, about 1 tablespoon to 1.5 tablespoon of cumin powder into the final product here, into our dal there. So I'm going to go ahead and Let that boil. Let's turn our attention over to our rice now. Alright, so for the purposes of today, we're going to be making 3 cups of white rice. Just plain old white rice. There's nothing really to it, but this is just a video showing you guys a step-by-step process to making a complete Guyanese meal. Because you know, Guyanese usually have like rice and then they have like 2 different stews that complement the rice. See, they make like dal and spinach, dal and okra, dal and this, dal and that, pumpkin and whatever else. Alright, so basically what you're just gonna do, you're gonna wash your rice and then you're gonna place it into your already boiling water with some salt, of course. And what I'm using here is some Carolina rice. If you're in America, you're gonna know about Carolina rice. A lot of people like to use jasmine or basmati. Use whatever suits your preference. And of course you should know that you want to wash your rice until the water here is close to clear, because you want to try to remove most of that starch that's in this water here. Alright guys, we're just going to be adding our rice into the pot here. Nothing too fancy. Alright guys, so that is it for now. Let me pause the video. I'm going to come back when it's time to prepare our salted fish. Like I said, it's still boiling and its first rung of boil there. And then we're going to remove it from the fire. We're going to remove most of that water and then you're going to place it back onto the fire to boil for a second time in order to get rid of most of that salt that's in that fish there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to come back to show you guys how we're going to fry it up and everything. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so here we are. I've removed my salted codfish from my fire here and I'm about to go ahead and smash those up. For right now, what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and place our smoked herring here onto our stove. We're going to boil this smoked herring here for about 10 minutes or so in order to soften it up. There are some bones in this herring here that we need to be able to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and boil this herring here, and then but in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and break up our salted codfish here and prepare it for frying. Let's get right into that. Alright guys, so we have our salted codfish as you can see here, and I'm just going to be using a fork here, and we're just going to go ahead and break this codfish up as much as you can. And how small or how large you want to break your codfish up here is totally up to you. You may not want to make them too small, or you may want to make them as small as possible. That's totally up to your preference. Alright, I believe that's enough breaking up of this codfish here for me right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, we're going to jump over to the stove where we're going to begin sauteing a little bit of onion, scallion, as well as some hot Scotch bonnet pepper. And then we're going to pour this bad boy right over it, and we're going to begin, or rather finish off the saltfish here. My rice is already complete. My dal needs one more step in order to reach completion. So let's continue rolling with our menu here today, guys. Alright, like I said, this is my oil that I have for my saltfish here. We have my onions, scallions, and Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm going to go ahead and saute those for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to pop our salted fish right into that, and we're going to finish off the saltfish. So I'll be back in a couple minutes to finish off the saltfish. Alright guys, so as you can see there, it's time for us to begin frying up this saltfish here. So I'm just going to pour this right into here. Alright, I'm going to allow my salted fish here to fry until it's about a brownish color. and then I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the stove. Alright guys, quick update on my salted codfish here. As you can see the lovely color in my pot there. I did went ahead and added some tomato ketchup to my saltfish there to give it that nice brown color. What I'm gonna go ahead and do now, I'm gonna add a little bit of black pepper in there as well. And that is pretty much it for this salted fish here guys. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this from the fire right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my dal. Alright guys, so in order to finish off our dal here, I'm gonna be blending my dal into my blender to make sure everything is well combined and everything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this out into my blender here. I'm also gonna go ahead and add my 1 tablespoon, 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of ground cumin. Like I said, that's totally based on your taste or your preference. Alright guys, so we're coming down to the final stretch of our menu here today. Like I said, I went ahead and boiled my smoked herring a little bit, and what I went ahead and did off camera, I went ahead and removed most of the larger size bones in this fish here, because this smoked herring here, if you haven't made it before, is loaded with a bunch of bones, probably thousands of bone in the smoked herring here. And with that being said, of course you would not be able to get out all of the bones, so I went ahead and removed most of the larger bones, and then I went ahead and started grinding my herring up in there. Now what I have in this bowl here is a little bit of onions, garlic, and hot scotch bonnet pepper. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do now, I'm gonna transfer my herring here over into my bowl here. And yes, there's a lot of smaller bones, smaller size bones in this herring that I have here, because trying to remove all that bone is a lot of work and ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm just gonna use caution when I'm eating this herring here, as to not get any bones stuck or anything. But with that said, sometimes you have to take the risk for the thrill or the deliciousness of this herring here. Now what I'm going to do here, we're just combining the ingredients in this bowl here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do as well, I'm going to use a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm going to squeeze it into my smoked herring here. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's my smoked herring there, my smoked herring choka. I also have my saltfish here, or my codfish, as well as my dal and my rice. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up and let you guys see the final product of 2 hours. It's been about 2 hours since I've been in the kitchen here, because I was involved in a lot of things, but you guys could probably get it done in about 1.5 hours. There's really nothing that much to this recipe here guys. The most time consuming part is really removing the bones from your choka here, your smoked herring choka. Other than that, everything should flow very smoothly. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up and let you guys see the look of the final product of this meal here. Alright guys, alright guys, alright guys. I invite you to take a look at all of the beautiful deliciousness on this plate here. Of course, we have our dal, smoked herring choka, and our salted fish with our beautifully made rice right there. What a lovely plate guys. I'm about to dig in. See you guys another time, another day with another brand new video.